Hello my friends, how are you doing? It is Everything Can Happen Tuesday again. So today we're going to talk about 8 mistakes you might be making when taking photos. My name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer, and I want to thank all of my patrons for supporting me and making these videos possible. Also, this week as an exclusive Patreon reward, you get a 12-minute review of my newest baby. It's the 24x70 2.8 Sigma art lens. I love it, but it has also some downsides. So if you want to check that out, click on the link in the video description. All right, let's get started here. So the first mistake, of course, is composition. So here we have an example of a geisha looking at some trees in a park. And the idea, of course, is great, but the execution not so much because you just don't know where to look. It's all over the place. There's even some people in the background here that block the correlation between the geisha and the trees. You see in this viewing angle right in her eye line, people are standing there. So that's not great. That is not really good. So you want to have a better composition. Here's a better example. Also a geisha, she's in the center of the picture. We catch her at a special moment, emotional expression in there is even a story. Look at the background, nice separation through the blur, but we have these other photographers eagerly waiting for the next geisha to come along to snap some other cool pictures. But this one is a real winner because this is a very nice picture. It has story in there, it has emotion in there, it has composition in there. So think about that. This is also very important about photography. Photography is an expression of emotion. It's an expression, the telling of a story. So how do you get that in there? If you have a problem to figure out how to do that, to improve your photographic style and quality, what you want to do is to research, for example, as I always say on Pinterest, find a topic, make a board with a lot of photos, take some notes, go out there and try to exercise that. You can even take your smartphone, look that board up and try to make the same photos, because the main thing that makes you a better photographer is research and then exercising that research to get it into yourself, into your mind, into your muscles, into your artistic skill. That is super important. Here is the second mistake you might be making. Don't ask people to turn around, look at your camera and say cheese, because that completely destroys a photo. Don't do that. It's really terrible, because as you can see here, it's just like it's set up, it feels awkward. It's like it's almost as cringy as a passport picture, stuff like that. Sorry to the photographer, by the way, that I'm ripping that photo so hard, but don't do that. Instead, what you want to do is to be the invisible eye, to just catch these moments that are happening while they are happening. Don't stage the things. If you want to have a real moment in there, try to capture the excitement, the emotion, the story, as I said before, and keep it natural. And don't tell people, turn around and smile at the camera. It's not a good idea. All right, here is the next mistake you might be making, and this is not caring about the background. Just say, okay, hey, stand in front of that background, just take a photo, that's gonna be good. No, you are, as a photographer, having the freedom to move around with your camera, find any different kind of angle, any different kind of moment, and get a good picture. So really think about what is happening behind what I want to photograph, because of course you're excited about what you want to photograph and you care about that main subject or object in your picture, but the background is very important too. So for example, here we have a nice example of a really good background that is fitting to the photo and really makes a really good sense, makes the model stand out and just improves the photo a lot. Compare this. This is a background. It gives a lot of noise. Look, there's even some text back there and some stickers and stuff. There's a lock on the side. There's so many things that just kind of grab attention, make no sense. It's not good for the picture. While here, everything is kind of supporting the main subject and really making it a more beautiful picture. And another thing you can see here, and this is really important, have the right lens for the right picture. This is really important. I know a lot of you, out of convenience, they want to have these 18 to 400 lenses or something ridiculous like that, even 18 to 200. The problem with that is if you have an f-stop of 5.6, if you zoomed in, there is no bokeh left. There's nothing, you can't work with that, right? So this is why you want to have either prime lenses that can't zoom at all, or have something that's a smaller zoom range, right? And then you have a bigger opening for the f-stop. Like, I mean, sometimes they can be expensive, but the good thing is, if you, for example, want to do portrait photos like this, if you have a smaller sensor like APS-C and you get a 50mm 1.4 or even 1.8, they are very affordable, and you can take really good pictures with a lot of bokeh in the background, so you can separate the model, the subject, the object from the background and work with that really good, right? Or get a lens that is specialized in zooming, or get a special lens that is wide angle, because they have not only better f-stop, they also have a better sharpness, less chromatic aberration. They are overall better. So forget about convenience and think more about the art in your photos, and change your lenses more often, but then you have specialized lenses for these moments to really take better pictures. That's a really big point there, right? The next point is, of course, light. Think about light. Where is it coming from? What is it doing to my picture? Is the person standing in the right position for the light? So for example, here, why is the person leaning towards me, and then there is the sun is coming from the back, everything else is in shadow? It's kind of strange. And you have a like blown out background, so that's not a good look, right? So you want to think, even if you photograph a person, don't have them stand in front of a photo, right? Or don't take photos that need soft light at midday, at noon, where you have the harshest sunlight. Often as a photographer, you want to photograph in the morning, when the sun is rising, you have soft light there, or in the evening when the sun is going down, again soft light, or when it's overcast, again you have soft light there. In some occasions, like macro photography, you need a lot of light, so this might be good during the day, although you can help yourself with a flash. Lots of flashlight on there, which also helps you with the depth of field, so you get a lot more sharpness in there, because there's so much light. You can have a higher f-stop to help you with that. So really think about the light situation. Again, research other pictures, what they are doing. Maybe even have a reflector disc with you, one of these big things, and you can have it in silver, in gold, in silver and gold at the same time. Even just the white fabric that's sometimes there, that you can either use as a reflector for very soft light, or holding it above the subject to soften the sunlight that's coming from atop. So and these things, they are very cheap to get, right? So and they fold down pretty small, so it's not a big hassle to bring them around. Another thing that is really important for the sun location, for the light situation, is that you have an app on your phone that is going to tell you when is the sun going to be where is the shadow going to be, how long is the shadow going to be, when is the golden hour, when is the blue hour. And by the way, there's a golden hour and the blue hour at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. So you have twice the ability to do that, and depending on where the light is coming from, that's important. For example, for buildings, stuff like that, that can't move, that you are on the right side of the building, get it in nice sunlight. Let's talk about the next thing here, and that is timing. We have a picture of the Buckingham Palace, and first of all, it's just a picture. So this is also maybe a point, is location here, but I think we have covered that somehow with composition. But you can see there is a taxi driving in there. There is this person standing here right in front of the photo. And it's just like, it's this kind of touristy, everyday picture that everybody has taken before. So not really good. Now, search around if you find special moments, maybe with the guards or with the tourist groups or with something else. So look at this picture here where we have an amazing timing and all these like smartphones being held up. It's kind of, it looks funny, it looks interesting. It's just a great photo. It's just a great moment to take home with you. Again, always keep in mind, a photography often is about the story, about the emotion, about the thing that's happening in the picture that you want to convey to the viewer. It's not just taking a picture of been there, done that. That's like not really enough for a good photo. It's good enough to just prove to people you have actually been there, but that's a little bit of a low bar for photography, so you want to go a little bit higher. Search for these special moments, figure out and search around and develop your eye for where interesting things happen. Also think about when are they happening, and over time you develop more of an understanding, more of a a sense for that, basically, right? Where you say, okay, these things, like for example, fish markets, meat markets, they are very interesting when you go there very much in the morning before the sun rises, when they get their deliveries, like in the middle of the night, basically. You go there, take amazing pictures, nobody else around. That's a good moment for these kind of occasions, right? So just think about, you can also ask people, locals, what would be a good time to take a photo of that. Another mistake is to just be at a place and take a photo without taking in the place and the potential of the place. So I want to invite you to play around with the surroundings, with their possibilities. For example, this is a great and easy shot you can do when the flowers are blooming in the spring, or in the winter when you have, for example, snow on the trees, or lights on the Christmas tree, stuff like that. Maybe crawl in there a little bit, stand like this. This is a really good kind of photo situation you can have, or play around with anything else that's there in your surrounding or that you have there in the situation to make a more interesting photo. You will find that often this is very easy, and you can get really interesting, playful shots that are much more interesting than just stand in front a flowering tree and say cheese. So that's really important. Play around and really make the most of the surrounding and the elements in the surrounding. And here's the last mistake a lot of people are making, is not to think about the colors in an image, especially if you set up the image, if you have the chance to have a little bit more control over what is going on in the image. Try to match them nicely together so that they complement each other, that they make the image more pleasing to look at, and they make the image less noisy, less confusing to look at. And this is not only true for images like this where you set up everything and plan everything in advance. It is also important when you take a picture and think about what is the background going to be, what kind of colors should the person wear. For example, if in this case the model had a bright orange jacket on, you can say, okay, maybe take that off. It doesn't mix with the background, so it looks a little bit better. Or turn to another location, another background where the colors are mixing better. So you have a lot of opportunity to bring colors together. And this is really a mark of good photography, is how they play with the colors. Of course, also adjusting them afterwards, but how they prepare and look for great colors and then use them in the pictures to really create amazing, interesting shots. All right, that's it for today. Maybe subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's completely free, or join my free Facebook group. That's also a possibility. And have a good day, stay safe, and see you soon. Bye.